All right, thanks for joining us. Southeastern Sports Network podcast coming to you. As we're wrapping it up, this will be out tonight, Saturday, November 22nd, as the games are kind of still going on. We'll talk about some of those through this. But most FCS games around the country. I think the latest starting FCS game in the country was 5 o'clock tonight. I think that was UTRGV. I think they're in delay, but that really doesn't have any bearing on the playoffs or anything like that. But most of the games are done. We can kind of look at the landscape. I came into the day always believing Southeastern was in. I think these two guys, Mark Willoughby joins us, Alan Waddell jumping on with us tonight, talk about this a little bit. I always believed that Southeastern was in. There was a few moments earlier in the morning where I kind of worried about it because, and we'll dive into this quickly, but Harvard was losing to Yale, Tennessee Tech was losing to UT Martin, Dartmouth was winning over Brown, and Lafayette was winning over Lehigh. Those were some teams that weren't probably going to get in the playoffs unless they got the auto bid. And those four would have, not Dartmouth. Dartmouth might have just won and made a case because the Ivy was kind of talking about possibly getting a third team in the deal. The other three were non-playoff teams. That was Martin, that was Lafayette, and that was who's the other one I was thinking
Yale,
about?
they won.
And Yale. Those three teams were possibly bubble busters. Well, Yale does win. Yale just destroyed Harvard today and gave Harvard their first loss season. Now, the Ivy only plays 10 games, so Harvard finishes 9-1 on the season. Basically the same record as Southeastern against the FCS. But that's it. So, guys, we're going to kind of keep this as coordinated as possible for people to follow along with. As the day progressed, it became pretty much I'm going to go around real quick. It's almost a sure thing now. The Lions are in the field of 24, right, Alan?
Yeah, looking at it going into the day, I think we all felt firmly that we were going to be in the playoffs. But I think we had a good day, guys. And I also think that we had a good day to potentially have a home game. And I still think that's a coin flip. But I think we're certainly more in the conversation now than we were when the day started to play at home. Yeah. But, some of the teams that lost that really helped Southeastern today, North Dakota losing to South Dakota State. I think they'll flip-flop. South Dakota State and some of the rejections was out. North Dakota was in. I think South Dakota State will be in. Sacramento State losing. Dartmouth losing. Lamar losing to McNeese. I've got a lot of questions today. Hey, is the McNeese win over Lamar good or bad? In my opinion, I think it's good. And this is why. I know we lost to Lamar, but I think when you put two teams on the chalkboard, if we're tied, they're going to give the tie to whoever won head-to-head. So I think now Lamar losing, I still think they have a chance to be in the field, but I think we passed them as far as maybe an opportunity to play at home. But you had some teams that were going into the weekend thinking that they were going to be hosting home games. Monmouth, they lost. Illinois State, they lost. And I think the big question, we're going to talk more about this as the show goes on, is what does the committee do with Harvard? I think Harvard is going to really come down to what happens to Southeastern as far as being able to play at home. Do they value Harvard's 9-1 FCS season better than Southeastern's 9-1 FCS season? And that's something we're going to have to discuss as the program goes on.
Mark, going into the day, you believe Southeastern was firmly in, right?
Yeah, well, based off what I would do, I thought they were firmly in. I thought the resume certainly spoke for itself. Now, what the committee does, I maybe don't have quite as much confidence because of what happened last year, but I felt like Southeastern was in. You would have to have some major bubble busting going on for Southeastern to even be on like the last one out or the first one out. I felt like they were in all the time. But now, would they be the first four, the last four in? Yeah, that was always a possibility. Now I think that's firm. I think Southeastern's definitely in. Now, as Alan mentioned, I think it comes down to, are we one of the first ones in or out to host a top 16? I think we're in that mix now. It's not a slam dunk by any stretch. Also, Northern Arizona got blasted today. That was kind of my pet peeve last year. So they're out. They're now 7-5.
They better be out.
It was shocking to me. They were anybody had them in. Honestly, when you look at their resume, but they're out.
When you talk about Lamar, Lamar is now not even.
Lamar is still in the bracket.
Well, they're tied for third in their own league. So
yes, but I don't think
if you talk about a head-to-head now with Southeastern,
I think that matters. I think what matters for them, they have 8 D1 wins and they have 2 ranked wins. They have a top 5 ranked win at the time over South Dakota. They were in the top 5 when that happened. They're not there now, but they have since rebounded and put themselves back in a position to maybe be a top 8 seed or a 9 or a 10. And beat them. So and they beat Southeastern head to head. So they have that on their resume. You can't take it away. But they did lose 2 out of the last 3.
3 out of 4.
Or 3 out of 4, and kind of limping to the finish line. And when you look at their entire body of work and based how each game pans out, they just kind of, it's either they win by a little or
they could be 4-8 really easily.
Well, they very easily could. So I think if the committee looks at that and says, okay, is this really a top 16 team? Or Southeastern a better bet to be a top 16 team? I think you would pick Southeastern. I put it like this: Vegas would have Southeastern favored all day, every day.
We were a 9.5-point favorite against them in Beaumont.
It's just that one particular day we, laid an egg.
Hey, Mark, I want to bring this up real quick as well. Another game that is being played right now. Probably by the time this is posted, it will be over. But Tarleton and Austin Peay. Tarleton's going to be a top 16 no matter what. They're going to be they'll probably be a top 8 no matter what.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll be a top 8 no matter what. I thought that coming in, but watching them play right now.
They only have one quality win, and that's an FBS win.
But FBS wins almost count for 2. But then hold on a second. But if Austin Peay wins, I think Austin Peay would jump into the top 16 over Southeastern. So
yes,
I know you're not watching this live, but
Tarleton's got it first and goal to tie the game as of right now. Okay, so the top 8, Mark. I'm going to talk about Sam Herder. I know Alan's got Craig Haley's up. Coming into this week on Monday, Sam put out his top groups. Okay, I'm going to go through the top 8 that we know. I think North Dakota State is easily number 1. I think the Bobcats of Montana State will jump into number 2 today with a win over Montana in the Brawl of the Wild. I think you got to keep Montana at 3. They lose a close game and a rivalry game. It was at home, but they were 2. I kind of think that.
By the way, just
I think the Grizz stay 3.
I agree.
Okay, I think they're going to give the 4th thing to Lehigh, which is just nuts to me.
Well,
but they did go 12-0.
If Tarleton wins, I don't think so.
I just don't see. I mean, I know what the bottom line is. The committee.
But if you look at what the committee put out a few weeks ago, they had Lehigh 4.
Yeah, and I just don't think they're going to move them, honestly. Now, they should, because when you watch them play, they're not the 4th best team in the country.
I watched them today. I hadn't watched them all year. They're hey, kudos to them for going 12-0, but
I mean,
they would probably lose in a straight-up neutral site game to about 16 or 17 teams in this field.
There's 3 or 4 or 5 teams in this Southland Conference that would have a 12-0 record with their schedule, in my opinion, or close to it. So, it is what it is, but, hats off to Lehigh.
Well, we'll just go to the 8. So Lehigh's going to stay in the top 8. Tennessee Tech will stay in the top 8 with a win today and escaped an upset over UT Martin. Mercer,
whose resume is not. I mean, other than win. See what gets me is we get dinged in the media because we didn't play anybody. Our strength of schedule, so forth and so on. Yet Tennessee Tech's going to get the benefit of the doubt when they don't play anybody.
Okay. So Mercer is going to stay in they lost today to Auburn, but that's kind of a throw.
Yeah, but hold on a second. I want to stop you right there. Mercer's going to be a top 8. Makes no sense to me. Mark, and I'd like you to comment on this.
I agree. It's the same.
Listen. So, Herder even put out today about how they're, bubble top 8. They're 9-1. Their best win is over Western Carolina.
Who's not going to make it?
That's not going to make it. So they have 0 good wins.
Didn't they beat Gardner-Webb?
Yeah, but Gardner-Webb lost today. They're
that's right.
That's my point. They're 9-1. They have no good wins. So this is how biased the media is towards the Southland Conference. They have Mercer as a slam dunk top 8 at 9-1, and then they'll tell you in the same breath that Southeastern 9-1 might not even make the field. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, Mercer lost to Presbyterian, who dropped scholarships. They're in the Pioneer League. Now Presbyterian's 9-2. Give them credit.
And Mercer was losing to UC Davis in the 4th quarter when a lightning delay came early in the season, and the game was just canceled.
Yeah. Now
they were probably going to lose. They were coming back, but there was no guarantee they were going to win that game.
But they lost to Presbyterian the next week. and in all due respect to Presbyterian, who is 9-2 or 10-2, I think they finished in the Pioneer League, but again,
non-scholarship league.
They're not gonna go 9-2 in any other league that has scholarships.
Okay, so we'll keep Mercer in the top 8. Okay. The question then becomes Harvard was in his top 8. We're still waiting on Tarleton. If Tarleton wins this game, who is now tied with Austin P, and that game will be final when this one is when this pod comes out. But I'm trying to look here and see. Yeah, it's tied up right now. They're about to kick off with 3:30. So Austin P can go down and kick a field goal and win the game essentially with 3 minutes and 33 seconds to go. I know Alan's got that up on there, but I'm going to go ahead and put let's just put Tarleton in the field right now as a top 8. Okay. Harvard was in his top 8. They're gone. Okay. So that creates this extra position for a top 8 team. So,
which will probably be Rhode Island.
Well, I'm going to give
you Villanova
or Abilene. Abilene's going to win the UAC.
I don't think they're going to put Abilene over Villanova.
Well, hear me out. Abilene has beaten SFA head-to-head. They have beaten Tarleton head-to-head. That's 2 right there, and they killed Austin P. So that's 3 ranked wins that they have. They're going to have 8 Division I wins. SFA is only going to have 8 Division I.
No, they have 9.
9 now, but I mean they have a non-D1 plus lost the head-to-head, so they're going to look at that. I would think the committee would, and then who else are we talking about?
I think Villanova. I think it's going to come down to that final 8 spot that Harvard has left out. It's going to be Rhode Island, Villanova, or maybe Abilene.
Well,
Sam Herder had Monmouth as the 9 seed. They lost today to a 1. They lost to a 10. And
they may not get a top 16, in my opinion.
Yeah, they lose to
blowout losses.
They lost to a 2 and 10.
They lost to 1 and 10 Albany today,
and they had a lot of near misses during the season because they give up a ton of points. They had a great offense.
And then he had the 9th seed team was Illinois. Illinois State was his 10th seed team, who was behind Monmouth. They got destroyed today by Southern Illinois. So those 2 are out. So what he had at 8, 9, 10 are going to fall back.
They're not out of the field. They're just
they're out of that position. Yeah. So does that move Rhode Island up into it, or does South Dakota, who he had at 12, can they find their way into the 8th position?
I think to me, South Dakota or Abilene has a better case than Rhode Island. Although Rhode Island's going to win the CAA. The CAA is just not a strong conference. It's kind of propped up. It's a bunch of average teams that beat up the bottom, so that somebody's going to win a lot of games. But Rhode Island may get that. Well, here's the other thing you got to think about, guys. Regionalism is still a thing, as much as they want to take that out of it. You're going to have some balance. You're going to have some place for Harvard to go, or somewhere for Rhode Island to go, somewhere for Villanova to go.
Lehigh.
Lehigh. I mean, somebody's got to go.
New Hampshire. New
Hampshire's got to go somewhere. So they're not all going to get shipped out. So Rhode Island winning the CAA is going to carry a lot of weight.
The CAA gets a lot of. I mean, they're a Northeastern team, a lot of big markets, a lot of big state schools, but they're kind of hanging off of a day when all their great teams have left them. The Old Dominions, the JMU,
James Madison,
the Delawares. All those schools have gone and moved up and kind of left them clinging to some,
Richmond, the Patriot,
yeah. Villanova is still there, a good, strong program.
I think Villanova is in the top 8 over Rhode Island and over Abilene. Even though I don't think they're better than Abilene, I think they get it.
So Sam Herder had Villanova at 16, getting the last at-home game this weekend.
Well, here's the thing you got to think about. We're sitting here talking based off what we would do as the way we see football through our lens and here in the Southland Conference and how we evaluate. You have to look at what do committees typically do. That's where Sam Herder and Craig Haley have a pretty good pulse. Typically, they do a pretty good job nailing the bracket. They may miss matchups or something like that, exactly how they have them lined up. But I think they do a pretty good job of getting where the committee is going to fall. And so from that standpoint, for the purposes of this podcast, I think we got to maybe look through those lenses a little bit. I was just trying to pull up some resumes here if I can.
Austin P has at the 40-yard line driving.
They're at the 2-minute warnings.
Yeah,
That's a
two
2
minutes.
And look, and hopefully we'll still be on. We'll try to be still on when that goes final, because I think that has a big deal as far as our chance to maybe be in the top 16. Because I think if Austin P wins, there's no doubt they're in the top 16. Would you agree with that, Mark?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I
So if Tarleton wins, we've got a really firm top 7. Tarleton, Mercer, Tennessee Tech, Lehigh, Montana, Montana State, NDSU. So the question mark.
Hey, let's back up here one real quick. Austin P, if they go into Tarleton and win, they're going to have 8 wins plus an FBS win on their resume. They're going to have a top, maybe an outside top 8 argument. I don't think they get it because nobody's thinking about them, but they have some good wins on their resume.
According to Sam on Monday, Austin P was the last team in the field. So
because he was thinking they're going to go 7-5, and there aren't 7 wins.
That's the other thing you got to realize when they do these projections, they're kind of trying to predict who's going to win and who's going to lose.
Right, they're just going about who's the
favorite. But I'll tell you this: nobody saw Monmouth losing to Albany today. I don't think anybody saw Illinois State just getting totally run out of the building by Southern Illinois.
Okay, let's back up on Monmouth real quick. Okay, their quarterback Derek Robertson, who was probably the odds-on favorite, maybe to win the Peyton had he not gotten hurt, is a big deal because he's Cole Kelly of Monmouth, and that's a team that can't stop anybody. They've given up a ton of points this year, over 300 and something points, 333 points they've given up on the season. They're 9-3. He's out. I don't know if he's coming back or not. I think that's going to play a big factor.
But Mark, I'm gonna agree with you on that. If they were playing somebody good today, Albany had 1 win. I don't care. I could have played quarterback. If you're a top 16 team in the country, you're supposed to win that game.
I don't disagree, but what I'm saying is I'm talking about whether they get a top 16 seed now. Is what I'm talking about.
I think they're out of the top 16. That's just my thoughts.
They should be. I agree with you. I don't disagree. I'm just talking about where reality is going to fall once the committee, again.
What are they going to know if this? I mean, are they going to know if this kid's going to play this weekend?
I mean, they're
tomorrow.
Say he is. I have no idea. I haven't been following exactly what the nature of the injury is. I just know he's been out.
So Mark, so Robbie. So let's go with those next 8 teams.
Okay, so the top 16 teams. Okay, so who's guaranteed to be in the? If we don't put Rhode Island, who's the consensus to be the 8th team? I mean, because you can't really build a 16 seeds without knowing who the 8th is. If Tarleton wins, which I think Tarleton's about to lose.
Here's my opinion. I think it's going to be out of Villanova, Rhode Island, one of those two, or South Dakota. I think is probably set at home this week. Didn't play because they had an open date. Could find themselves in that mix. I think SFA's got to be put in that mix.
Well, Mark, you can't list every team.
I know we can't. I'm talking about.
We got to pick one of the teams.
No, but
Mark, you talk about geography on the Northeast. They're going to want
the line that they're going to pick from. I think
they're going to want it. I think they're going to want to have 2 teams from the Northeast in the top 8. Lehigh's 1.
Yep.
Rhode Island could be, or Villanova could be 2.
I agree with that. Don't disagree with that.
And I think because Rhode Island wins the league, I think Rhode Island gets it.
Okay, let's back up. Okay, from a regional perspective, how many teams from the Northeast are going to get in? Let's look at that. Okay,
a lot.
All right, Rhode Island's in, Villanova's in, New Hampshire's in. Monmouth is going to be in. There are going to be 4 from the CAA. Everybody else is out.
Harvard is in.
Yale.
That? Harvard is in. Yale is in at 6.
New Hampshire.
No, you said New Hampshire.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Lehigh is 7.
I said Lehigh. Wait, let's start up. Let's do it this way, okay? All right. The Northeast is going to have Lehigh. They're going to have Yale and Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're going to have New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Villanova. That's 6 teams right there.
Right.
Anybody else in the Northeast that I can think of?
Central Connecticut State has the auto bid.
Central Connecticut State. That's 7.
And I think there's
Drake. Where's Drake?
Drake's in the Midwest. That's
okay.
Well,
let's see who else.
That's it.
Is it 7 or
Central 8? Central Connecticut State's going to go straight to if Villanova or
whoever's 8 or 9, they're going straight to 9.
Villanova or Rhode Island, whoever gets the 8th, if it comes down to those 2, I just don't see why Sam Herder has. I'm not saying Sam knows everything, but he's got him at 16. Hard for me to see Villanova jumping all the way to 8 when he's got Rhode Island, who won today, sitting at 11.
But Robbie, but Haley has Villanova at 11 going into the week.
Yeah, but I think Haley has a lot of bias to the Northeast. Like, I mean, Rhode Island's the Northeast too, I guess. So.
Here's the other thing: they beat an 8-3 team today, and that's going to carry some weight. Villanova did. So Sacred Heart was 8-3 coming in. So even though they're an independent, it's the team with the winning record.
I think they had 3 non D1 wins though.
It's not going to matter.
All right, Mark. Yeah. Mark, I guess here's a couple of questions for people that are watching this that are Southeastern fans. Obviously, that's most people watching this. The question for us is Harvard out of the top 16?
I don't think so.
I personally don't think so either. I think for a couple of reasons. One, I think the main reason is it's Harvard. They're in the Ivy League. They're the face of the Ivy League, even though they lost today. I think
got destroyed today.
They got destroyed, but I think the football championship subdivision wants a marquee Ivy League team in a prominent position. So I do think they are going to host a game, is my opinion. Now, do them and Yale both host? I think that's going to
no way Yale hosts.
You know, that's going to be, wouldn't say no way, because you got to look at the politics of it as well. I think that does play a factor.
I agree with that, but there's
but Yale went 8-2 in the Ivy. I mean,
we watched the Ivy. We watched it all day today. It's
bad league.
It's not good football. I mean, it's decent. It's not,
All right, Austin Peay just took the lead by 3 over Tarleton with a minute left.
Well, here we go. So
all right, so that's the question. So these are the questions you want to see when the bracket comes out. If you're watching the selection show tomorrow, is Harvard a home team? Are they a top 16? Okay, I think also Illinois State.
Monmouth are in a top 16. If you see them early in the top 16, then we're not.
That's the two teams. If Harvard and Monmouth are in the top 16, we have no chance to be in the top 16.
I agree.
Where did Craig Haley have Monmouth on his coming into today?
10.
Well, Herder had him at 9, so it's similar. I would think Illinois State is out of the top 16. North Dakota, who Sam Herder had in the top 16, those two are out.
UC Davis is in top 16.
I agree with that.
Okay, so he did not have them in, so they're going to move in now out of the.
And I'm telling you, and I really think what's going to happen in this last minute and 1 second here, because if Austin Peay loses, that opens up another spot in the top 16. If they win, they're in the top 16. Agreed, Mark?
Yeah, I agree. Now, I will say that I do believe all of these results being at or near over by now gives the committee a little bit more leeway to think about things. I know in the past, some of the results didn't come in until later at night.
Yeah, they're gonna have hours.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a lot more time to go, you know what, we might need to move this around. So I do think that's going to, for better or worse, I know a lot of it's already set and it really doesn't make a difference, but there's some things on the margins that do matter, like because it's they do look at Massey ratings, they look at the other ratings as well.
And we're going to be in the top 20 of the Massey.
Exactly, but even something as small as Murray State winning today gives us a little bit of a nudge, a little bit more of a nudge in that regard. And you never know if it comes down to if it's this close, it could help. I doubt it, but
well, you talk about regional stuff.
Charleston is through interception. Austin Peay's going to win.
So there are going to be 3 teams in from the UAC.
Yep,
and 3 should be in from the Southland.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. Did they say it was an interception?
I'm behind.
Oh, there's a flag. There's a flag. Sorry to jump the gun.
Yeah, I'm behind. So
sorry. They threw a deep pass down the sideline, and it was it's holding on Austin Peay. So Charleston's still alive. Okay, so back down. What I just said.
UAC officials, baby.
Okay.
Let's talk about where Southeastern travels if they have to go, and we can look at that from a regional perspective, right? The natural thing that you've heard from everybody is, it's straight to SFA, it's straight to SFA. The committee has talked about in recent years trying to detach conference opponents, even if they didn't play. I remember hearing this a lot last year, even though we weren't in the field. They talked about it with the CAA, Mark, and the Big Sky. Because those leagues are so big. They get a lot of teams that get in the playoffs that don't play each other. And, it's kind of like
Well, it's like Northern Arizona last year. We talked about it. I like them coming into today. where they didn't beat anybody above number 7 or 8 in their league. As their 4 wins today, even though they lost, they're out now. But people were talking about them being in the playoffs, and they have no quality. Their best win was UIW at home, and that was early in the season. So, but that's
Okay, so
with these super leagues like the CAA and
all right, Mark. Let me ask you this. I think you know. Look, you know as much about this as anybody. Do you think of the what we've seen today? Are we going to SFA next week?
I mean, logically, yes. Just because I think SFA has to get an 8 seed for us not to go, or we got to sneak in a 16 and host.
okay, well, let's think about this though, real quick.
And
hold on.
Doesn't get a 8.
You talking about regional, Mark? You're talking about regional, okay? You're talking about the teams out west. You got your 2 Big Skies are going to be buys. They're not playing this weekend. Montana State. You got UC Davis sitting out there. Mm-hmm. Who the heck is out on the central or western part of the state that's got to go out to UC Davis, right? You have, and then you're talking about SFA, Lamar, and now Tarleton with a loss, all playing on the opening weekend. So you got 3 teams that are going to be hosting in the state of Texas within about what?
I think Tarleton stays top 8.
If Tarleton stays top 8, it don't matter. I mean, and they could very easily. They look today as a 3-point loss to Austin P, who's in the tournament, a good team, and they only have 2 losses on the year.
But I get Robbie's point. So like somebody's got to go out there.
You got 3 teams within about 100 miles of each other that are all going to host games this Saturday: Tarleton, Abilene, and SFA. Okay,
SFA is a little further than 100, but yeah, I agree.
But they're all in. Well, come on, Mark. They're all in Northeast Texas, basically. More northeast of Central Texas. They're all right there. So you're going to pack in this regional thing. So who's going out to play UC Davis? Because there's no other Big Skies out there that.
And we're saying they're all going to play at home.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
so let's just. They're going to look. How many bus rides can they put together in the first round?
The only bus ride is us to SFA.
Okay, so that makes sense. Just makes way too much sense. Now, I hope they don't do that. I hope because but if you play a team in your own league, it feels like it's not the playoffs. So like you're still playing a regular season.
That's what I'm saying. Like I just don't know who's. So you're going to send us to SFA, and you got to find teams to go to Tarleton, Abilene, and you got to find teams.
Tarleton just picked up a 4th and 11. They're alive. On like the 30-yard line.
11 seconds left. Those would be about a 50. I'm going to review this probably. I think. Let's see.
I think Tarleton losing kind of takes us out of the SFA realm to some degree because
personally,
if we're one of the, if we're like so far down in the committee's minds, SFA may not even be in the top 16. Although there was some stuff that happened today that might get them into the top 16 now. Do they send SFA to Tarleton in the first round?
No, SFA's going to be at home.
I mean, here's the other thing too, guys. You got the eye test matters also to a lot of a degree. Obviously, you're looking at how many wins, who you played. You have good wins, bad losses. They're still going to flip on the tape and go, you know what? This team's kind of fluffed up because of rankings or whatever, because of media bias or what have you.
And look,
but this team's probably better than them. I think that does happen.
Look, and from what we understand, this is not official. This has not been put out, but from we understand that every conference sends somebody into the committee, right? The Southland Conference is doing a heavy push. I think the push, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I think the push from the conference officials in the meeting is going to be more. They're going to fight for us not to play each other over us having a home game.
No, I agree. They should.
Which obviously takes care of itself if we have a home game. But if it comes down to saying like you want Southeastern to be in the top 16, but not or not play SFA, we'll give you one. I would think the conference is going to say don't play SFA and keep them out of the top 16. That's my opinion because they want 3 teams to have a chance to go into the second round. That's what the conference, I think, would push over us being in the top 16.
But they're only one, whatever they are on the committee as far as say goes.
I know, but I'm saying like
for a long field.
Well, Mark, what I'm saying is like hey, I don't know if they go around and kind of have some concessions. Hey, what do you want to see out of your league? What can we look at?
I have no idea what goes on in the committee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think if the league has a wish to the committee, it's We don't need SLU to be a top 16, or we didn't need Lamar to be a top 16. We don't want two of our teams playing against each other in the first round.
Hopefully that's the way they say
I think that's probably what they're saying over getting us in the top 16. That's just my opinion, but somebody's got to go to UC Davis.
Yeah, somebody will go. They'll fly somebody out. Once it's over 400 miles is a flight. They don't, once they're chartering a flight, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But if they can save money by putting somebody on,
do they send Lamar to UC Davis and send us to Abilene?
They could send them to
but Robbie,
SFA. I mean,
look, there's all kind of what you could. The thing that keeps going back to though is that they can bus us to SFA.
Right.
That's a big deal.
I mean,
and in the southern, and the thing that we're up against the 8 ball here is in the whole southern United States. When you look at this thing, because FCS is so dominated by the Midwest and Northeast, there's just not a lot of teams down here. We're going to be the only team in the field in the South, not from Texas. And if they can bust us up there, I just feel like that's what they're going to do, and I hate that. I don't want that to happen, and I know the conference is fighting for that. The representative in the Southland Conference is the athletic director from UIW, so obviously he has a lot of experience in the last several years with what the playoffs look like. So hopefully he can keep us out at SFA. Not that we don't want to play SFA, but when you get the playoffs, you want to play somebody different.
Tarleton's going to run one more play, by the way. It's caught, and it's going to get them about 8 yards. So
we might not be able to finish. They might be looking at a overtime here.
So we may be talking about this game all the way through the final of this pod. The bottom line is I think Southeastern's in. I think it's going to be iffy if we're on that hosting bubble or not. I know the conventional wisdom nationally is that we won't be, but the way things played out today, I think there is a slight possibility. And also comes down to who could bid or not.
Tarleton made it.
Field goal's good going to overtime, it looks like, barring some type of return or something.
Mark, you follow this better than me. How often do these guys that predict, I'm not saying get the teams right in the 24, how often are they wrong about who goes where and everything else?
They're wrong quite a bit. I mean, it's not – I think they're usually pretty good about getting the 24.
Right.
I know Sam Herter and Craig Haley are usually – either right on it or 1 or 2 off, possibly. They have been wrong before. They have missed some who goes where. Now they've missed with us before, I believe. I don't think many people had FAU coming here back in the day, or Idaho coming here. Thinking back to 2022. I got to go back and look. I just don't recall anybody nailing Idaho coming to Southeastern, or even us hosting, by the way. I mean, I know in 2019, nobody had us hosting. Well, nobody had us bidding because we outbid everybody because Tangi Tourism steps up. So when it came down to a bid package, we were not going to lose a bid after the 2014 fiasco.
Well, Mark, I'll tell you this: the thing that's going to bother me the most, and I'm going to complain the most about, and I get all the reasons to do it, but I just don't see any way that somebody that is educated on FCS football can put Southeastern and Harvard on the same line and say Harvard's a better football team. And like I said, I get it.
Lehigh, Harvard.
I know, but Lehigh went 12-0. They deserve it.
No,
They earned it.
I do agree with that. I do think winning matters.
Harvard went into a game today with a chance to say, hey, we're 10-0. We've earned the top 8, whatever. Going 10-0 is hard. I get that. But they got absolutely destroyed today. That game wasn't even as close as the final score by a 7-2 team in the Ivy. There's no way they're a top 16. They're just not. And do I think they should be in the field? Yes, I do think that. But they should not be in the top 16. They should have to. Maybe they'll come down here to Hammond.
I like Ivy's having a chance being in the field. I do think it's look, they're the backbone of college football. That's where everything started, in the Ivies and that part of the world. Some of the oldest rivalries, in the country, and you do want them to be celebrated for that. But
okay, one more question I want to ask. The Rabbits have been on a little bit of a tailspin.
They've been without their quarterback too. I don't know what his availability is going to be.
Are they, with a win today, back in the top 16?
I think they are.
That was, I mean, most consensus said if they lost today, they were out.
Yeah, I think
And
they would have been out of the tournament had they lost, but they won. So you have a win over Montana State,
they were Sam Herder's last team out.
Montana State, I think many people, they're right there with North Dakota State as 1 or 2. I mean, North Dakota State's far ahead. I mean,
they're putting the Rabbits in at 7-5.
They're 8-4 now.
Or 8-4, excuse me. They're putting the Rabbits in.
No, but I know they're in, Robbie, but are they at home?
Probably.
I think so too.
Because
they're going to draw. They'll draw well
on the road when it mattered. With their backs against the wall, backup quarterback, they went on the road and beat North Dakota. And North Dakota's all banged up. Now,
and they were losing by 2 touchdowns in that game.
I know, and they came back and won. So look, they earned their way to host. I think so. This is a proud program that's won national championships. They should host. I have no problem with that.
Teams that lost today that were considered to be teams that lost today in that so Monmouth was was 9 through 16. They lost, they're out. Illinois State lost today, they're out. North Dakota lost today, they're out. Now, one of those
they're out. We don't 100% know they're out.
Not that they're out of the
no, out of the top 16.
We're saying they are because we think they are, but I'm just telling you, I don't put anything past.
But Harvard, I think, will fall into one of those spots that they vacate in the top 16.
The reason I think they're out because somebody's got to go travel to Harvard or whoever gets a home game. Somebody's got to go. So Monmouth is a prime candidate to travel now, and because that may be a bus ride for somebody, maybe Lehigh.
The bus ride thing, you talk about everything. The bus ride thing is such a joke in this day and age in college football to me. Like,
I know with the amount of money we're talking about, I mean, who cares? But that's just
like, we got a bus, we could save. Well, I mean, buses cost.
If the shutdown was still going on, 100%. We were definitely busing the SFA. Now that that's over, maybe.
Okay, so look, let's just kind of wrap up here by saying what the fans need to watch for tomorrow when they start unveiling the names. Mark.
Well, I think Harvard, as you mentioned, if you see all of a sudden it pops, we may pop up there early. You don't know. If you see SFA pop up as an 8 seed, if you see Harvard pop up as an 8 seed, I think if you see anything like that, will probably be a signal. Obviously, SFA early. I mean, because they're an 8 seed, we're not going there. I mean, by common sense, but. I just think you need to be looking at that early. I mean, it's good. We'll know soon enough. I mean, shows.
Now, SFA could be an 8 seed, and we can get paired with the winner of our game could go to them.
Very easy.
In the second round.
I'd like that. I think we all would like that. That'd be awesome.
Awesome
for us to get a home game and then be paired.
Well, look, I think we all thought we were in, and I'll end by saying this. I think we all thought we were in. I think we had a good day. I think a lot of stuff kind of fell to us as far as I don't think that we were a top 16 team at the beginning of the day, but I think that I think we're in that 18 to 15 range that right now. And I think they're
okay. I don't think we're 22, 3 or 4.
Right no, now. Absolutely not.
Is Lamar out?
No.
I think they're in.
Yeah. Now we may leapfrog them as far as, all that goes. Now, again, the top 8 seeds locked in, 9 through 16, the home game, and then after that, I think they're going to look at trying to save money.
I think I've only got 6 top 8 locked in my book right now, depending on what happens in Tarleton.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on with that turn.
They're in overtime. Tarleton start with the football.
Austin Peay's got it back.
No, Tarleton has the ball. I'm watching it. It's starting.
Oh, okay. I must be behind.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep.
Well,
guys?
I think we about covered it. I don't know if we're going to solve anything.
One last thing I want to hit on, and this is, I think, a question a lot of our fans are asking, and no one really talks about it. Why is the Southland getting so much trash in terms of the league itself? I'll start with Alan, I guess.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I mean, we had a few years there where a lot of teams left. When Sam Houston bailed, when SFA bailed, when Lamar bailed, it was like, oh, what are we going to do here? But I mean, if you look over the last several years, all the Southland teams that get in are winning. They're winning games. I mean, UIW got to the semifinals probably because should have got to the national championship. That was a few years ago. We get in. We beat Idaho.
Nichols was a bad embarrassment in 2023.
That was the worst the league had ever been.
Okay, so let's talk about that real quick. Okay, after COVID, when you had all the teams, Sam Houston bailed, Lamar bailed, SFA bailed, and came back. The league was at a low point. Obviously, I mean, we had to play each other twice. I mean, who wanted to do that coming out of COVID? The top of the league, good. Anything below the first two or three, not very good. And I think we earned it. We let some teams in.
Here's the problem. Our bad teams are really bad.
Carlton just scored a touchdown.
Yeah, our bad teams are really bad, Robbie. But the top of the league's pretty good. And you know what? You know what's really shifted in the way I view it as well?
Big Sky's the same way, Alan.
Yeah.
Like that. Top's really good, and then the rest of it's just.
Mark, I'll tell you another thing that's happened too. Another thing that I think hurts our league is because we're not financially as strong as some of the schools in the North. A lot of our teams play 2 FBS games every year.
That's right.
So our records aren't as good. All right. So I think that's one thing that really hurts us. I mean, you look at some of these leagues, we're talking about Lehigh, they didn't play an FBS. The Ivy League team, they didn't play an FBS.
So why we're not ranked, we're not anywhere close to being ranked before the season starts. We start off with Louisiana Tech, games should have been nothing at halftime. We end up losing 24-0. It happens. You get shut out. You play Mississippi or Murray State, who's coming off a 1-10 season. You beat them bad. You beat Mississippi Valley bad. And we say, well, the teams you're playing are terrible. Then you get beat at LSU. You're 2-2. You're not on anybody's radar. And it took until we got to about 5-2, 6-2 for there to be some serious discussion about, hey, Southeastern's pretty good. Nobody knew how good we were on defense. You just had to bide your time. Well, you flip that around. Some of these other, like Monmouth, they're winning early because the schedule's soft. They're putting up all kinds of yards. They get propped up, and all of a sudden they lose toward the end.
But Mark, you go back. Let's think back. Since we've been doing. I mean, think about last 10 years. I mean, what Sam Houston? Or that was maybe a little longer. But Sam Houston was in the national championship game twice. I mean, this has been
in 2020.
Yeah, they wanted. I mean, this has been a good league. I just don't understand what's happened as far as
we went to the semifinals.
We've had a quarterfinal appearance.
Run. We've won a playoff game every year we've been in, except once.
Yeah, I mean, we have wins over Idaho, Villanova, Florida A&M. Good wins.
We need Nichols to get back to having winning records. Look, at the end of the day, the league has got to do something with this Houston Christian thing. They are just a detriment to the league. They have never had a good season. Houston Christian either needs to get on board or get out. I mean, their stadium's a joke. They're a laughing stock. Their performances are terrible. They're not investing in the programs. Northwestern State's collapse of a football program has hurt the league. They were a team that, could get in the mix to be a 6-6, 7-4 team, have a chance. They haven't been anywhere near anything like that in such a long time. The UTRGV ad was a great ad for the league. McNeese being bad for the last 6-7 years has really hurt the league as well because they were always a team that got a lot of national recognition. UIW has certainly emerged in that category, but they had a bad year. So
UTRGV is going to be a big ad, I think.
I think it will be a big ad.
I think that's a positive step.
Well, okay, we're about to know. We'll know how this ends right now because Austin Peay's about to go for 2, and then we'll sign off here
after this timeout by Tarleton. So,
but guys,
hey, well, I think you're gonna get a chance to play football after Thanksgiving, which is great.
Might as well talk through this kind of live cast of this one. Timeout at Tarleton. Austin Peay going for 2. And this is a big 2-point conversion for many.
This could be the difference between us playing at home or going SFA.
I mean, I have no idea how that'll play out, but it's going to be a big deal for a lot of people. I mean, Austin Peay, I think, was in anyway.
No, I think they're in, Mark, but I don't think they're a host at 7-5.
No, I agree with that.
Austin Peay could be an opponent for Southeastern. They're not too far from here.
Pretty good. I mean, that's a good football team. Athletic.
The Governors.
Sure.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. Coming up with timeout, but I who knows what's going to happen. I think we're in.
We're definitely in.
Speaking to existence, we're in, baby.
Yeah, I think that's. I think
I'd like to know the last time a 9-win Division I team, 9 Division I win team got left out.
Well, you get those sometimes in these weaker leagues.
Yeah, but I'm talking about in a legitimate league.
Yeah.
All right, Austin P. They got it. He overthrew him. He was wide open and tall to win. So hey, we might be in heaven.
Hey, never know. They come to America.
All right, guys, let's go.
All right, y'all done?
All right. Thanks, guys. All right. That'll do it for us. Talk to you next time.